Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Gaura Haribo, Gaura Haribo, Gaura Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot, Maraji. So, yes. So, does anyone of us who has joined here have like access to laptop? I mean, immediately, like, can they share the screen? Is it possible? Okay, all right. So, I'll try to share it, Prabhuji and Bhakti and Bhakti, because I'm on mobile now. The blessings of all. I'm getting the opportunity to. I'm here in Sri Marapur Dham today. So, so I'm not carrying many things with me. So, I can share the screen and then bring- kindly confirm when you can see my screen and then is it visible?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Not visible, Mataji, yet?
Only your name is, yes, is shown, Prabhuji.
No, it is shown. Okay, very good. Thanks a lot. Yes. So begin with the opening prayer. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जलाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरून् श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातां सहगणा रघुनाथं तं सजीवम् सादरीतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखानुतं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, I welcome you all, Prabhuji and Mataji, to the today's session of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are going to read just the three verses from 10 to 4, chapter 21, shloka number 11 onwards. So, uh, one thing which I heard just a few minutes before, we had a live session here in the most glorious Srimaya Pradham, is if we want to progress in bhakti, then the only thing that we need in our whole life is to develop the attraction for hearing. It is very interesting. We are whole life hearing anyway, and we have not satisfied ourselves yet. We're still looking for that place. But when we hear when we hear about the glories of the Lord, then whatever gap is there in our bhakti gets fulfilled. And the Lord, when He enters, it is a very nice shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.4. When the Lord enters through the ears, okay, then He purifies the heart. And then we are we are giving ourselves a chance to actually progress in the bhakti. We don't have to do anything. Our whole life is anyway finishing. Okay. So life is very temporary, and and we don't experience it until it comes very close to us, either in the form of some friends, or some relatives, or someone dear. And we see a person, and he's very healthy, and everything is going good, and uh, and then suddenly he disappears. Okay, then we experience it just few hours before today. Okay, I cannot explain how the situation was. I I gave up the morning wake up call because we are on the yatra to the devotee, and then we all get ready, we went, and then we lost a very near devotee today, just few hours before in the Ganga. So so there is a nice bhajan, right? Bhajahu re man. So Jeevan Kamal Dal Jal Jeevan Talamal. Right? Our life is like the droplet of the water on the leaf of the lotus, and there is no guarantee how long it is going to stay. So all all we need. Parikshit Maharaj was a great teacher. And when Sukhdev Goswami is asking something in detail, I mean something in hurry, he is asking, no, that is not correct. And for example, towards the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj explains the entire Krishna Lila in just few slokas, then he found, no, that is not something that should be finished so early. He had he had only 7 days left. Okay? And when and Srila Prabhupada mentions in the introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam, if a person hears the first 9 cantos, then he can see the Lord. So it means Prabhupada is telling it, right? And when Parikshit Maharaj, kind of a greatest devotee, when he is hearing from Shukadeva Goswami with utmost attentiveness, uh, there is no doubt he had seen the Lord even when he was in the womb. So, and then after hearing the first 9 cantos, when the pastimes of the Lord were explained in hurry, then he requested Shukadeva Goswami to please explain those topics in great detail. So we should be very eager, okay? Because when we hear, we get attraction. First, we get knowledge. We may not be interested initially. We get some knowledge, and when we continue hearing, we develop the attraction. If we want to serve someone, then how can we know without we know about the identity of that person? Even with our any amount of efforts, we cannot know. Gajendra says, your pastimes nobody can understand. Um, Same Krishna who is holding Govardhana on his littlemost finger is now holding the finger of Nanda Baba or the Jagannath Mishra, his father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's holding that, and then who can understand? So Gajendra says, I'm a Jantu, I'm an animal. How can I understand? So all we need is to just hear, and Lord, you can do anything. Especially Gormatai have appeared in this Kali Yuga to to elevate those those personalities who are most degraded. They don't see who is qualified and who is not qualified. Because what is the point in seeing in Kali Yuga anyway? Everyone is unqualified. The very same fact that we have got this same body. This is something very interesting. I heard it yesterday. Okay. The very same fact that we have got this body is a proof that we don't have attraction for them. And not only that we have a body, but we have attachments also to maintain it. And on top of that, we have no desire to even go back. So there is no hope for for us, okay, other than especially Gornika to to help us into this most degraded state. Like when we give an anesthesia to a person, you cut his any part of the body, the person will not realize. So this is the anesthesia of the Maya. Okay? When the effect of that anesthesia goes, anesthesia is not a permanent state. This thing you have to all remember. Anesthesia is not a permanent state. It is just a temporary state so that we don't feel the pain. So we are under the influence of that anesthesia where we don't feel how how badly we are suffering. Okay, we are just trying to adjust ourselves into whatever problems comes. We don't have to do anything new into the Krishna consciousness. We have to still adjust ourselves, but now for the pleasure of the Lord. There is the only the change of the consciousness. All our actions are going to remain 100% same. So as long as Krishna is there in the center, then all our activities. I heard it from His Holiness Bhakti Brad Bhagavad Swami Maharaj. I guess I shared it last time also that in morning when we wake up and if we do our chanting, then uh, then all our activities for the rest of the day becomes devotional service. It's a very powerful statement by Maharaj. I had asked him this. I got the opportunity to ask this personal question: how do we remain Krishna consciousness after morning when we go to our work and we do other things? Maharaj said there is not a right question. The question is invalid. And how it is invalid? Because if we are doing everything keeping Krishna into the center, then our every single activity is Krishna conscious activity. And how do we keep Krishna into the center? By starting our day with our attentive 16 rounds. If we do that, the rest of the day is in the hand of Krishna. And then we then we accept because we cannot know. I mean, Krishna has a unique plan for each one of us, and we can see that plan. If we cannot see it. Once a very great sannyasi was asked, "Have you seen Krishna in your life?" And then that sannyasi replied, "No, I've not seen Krishna into my life, but I've seen his hand in everything." So that is our sense. We start our today's shloka with this movement. And one thing again and again I want to emphasize is that life is very short, and we have no we have no idea how close we are to the death and how close we are to the Krishna. If someone asks us, give your rest of your life, and if we still hesitate in giving that this body made up of stool, urine, blood, pus, so many worms inside. Yes, really. so many worms inside. So that is a physical gross level of the body, and at the subtle level also, it is full of the enviousness. It is full of the pride, and it is literally of no use for anyone. And Jiva Goswami says in Bhakti Sandarbha, in Kali Yuga, it is very easy to be humble. So, because we have no qualification. But look at our state, look at the strength of that anesthesia that is still making us proud. It is like hats off, right? We say in our language, right? Hats off, hats off to Maya Devi. She is doing her work. Her duty is to keep us engaged. Why? Why it is her duty to keep us engaged? Because we had a desire. If Maya Devi does not do her work, okay, and if we don't forget ourselves, we will not be able to enjoy. So nobody in the world is against anything which is happening around us, whether it is in the form of somebody not treating us well, okay, somebody saying some words which we don't like. It is all for our purification. So Srila Prabhupada says that uh, when the when the cool winds comes, okay, then it is like cool embrace by the Lord. And when the hot in summer hot winds comes, that is like the warm uh, embrace of the Lord. He's hugging us. Both the cases, there is the arrangement of the Lord. When the things happens, actually, it is very when the things happens with us, it is very difficult to accept them. But then, anyway, what choice we have? Let us at least in this one lifetime, when His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was serving Srila Prabhupada, suddenly he says, "You have given so many lives to Mayas. Just give me this one lifetime." So this body we were discussing, right? At the bodily platform, it is of no use. At the subtle platform, it is pride, enviousness, anger, everything. So it is a, and we don't know how many days are left. Parikshit Maharaj was successful, I mean, very fortunate. Okay? And the devotee who left his body is also, if you think philosophically, is very, very fortunate. What else we expect in Kali Yuga, okay, leaving the body in Shri Dham Mayapur, and then in the lap of Mother Ganga? What what do we expect more? But yes, uh, we have a heart, we have a consciousness which is not so purified. So and we cannot deny from the fact that it is a loss of the devotee for the family and the for whole congregation. There are different modes, okay, but one thing common is whether it is something. If someone leaves the body, then usually people do maximum 2 minutes of moans, right? This is what we used to do in the schools. But but for devotees, they 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 chant and they chant more intensely. I request you all, please, to kindly pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. In Kali Yuga, the Lord appears in two forms, Daru Brahman and Jal Brahman. Daru Brahman is Jagannath, the temple that we visited just before Mother Ganga was Jagannath temple. It all happened in about 1 hour's interval. Okay, first we went to the Jagannath temple, so there is the Daru Brahman, and we cannot explain like how the things were happening in what sequence. In morning we had a class where this was told. The Lord appears in two forms in Kali Yuga, Daru Brahman and Jal Brahman. Daru Brahman is Jagannath. We all went and took the darshan in Simanti Deep, there is a Rajapur temple of Lord Jagannath, who is known different from the Jagannath of Puri. And who has told this thing? Scriptures have told it. His Grace Jananivas Prabhu, right? No, sorry, I correct myself. His Grace Pankajankir Prabhu. He has mentioned in this. His book. So Jal Brahman is the second one is Jal Brahman, which is Mother Ganga. So this water has come from the water of the Mother Ganges has come from the Lord. His lotus feet. And then we discussed whatever. So we continue to the shlokas of today. Maitreya Vacha Ganga Yamunor Nadyo Antara Kshetram Avasan Arabdhan Eva Bhubuje Bhogan Punya Zihashaya. Can I request someone to please read the translation and the purpose?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, the greatest simply says,
Oh, Prabhuji, we have to read from Veda base.
yeah, Mataji, I've shared my screen also, if it is visible. Otherwise,
Yeah.
is it visible? Yeah, it's 11th
Yes,
verse.
sir. Yeah,
Translation.
I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Prabhuji, which verse is that? Is it 11? Verse 11?
Verse 11. Yes, Mataji. Shloka 4th canto, 21 chapter, verse number 11.
Is this the
21st.
verse, Prabhuji? Is this the verse?
Yeah, Tasya Naya. That was Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Because last
It is
I have written the verse number 4.21, Prabhuji. 4.21.6 sixth verse we finished, I guess.
6 verse, Krishna. Mataji.
4.21.10.
Yeah. 21st chapter. That's what.
So,
Is this the verse, Mataji?
then this was done last, where Vidur was asking to explain more.
Yeah. That is the last one we saw. Vidura's.
Okay, Mataji. So this one, right? 4.21.11. Is the thing visible, Mataji? You want me to zoom again?
No, it is visible, Mataji.
Okay. Okay,
It is
Mataji.
Haribol. Pranam, Prabhuji. Haribol. Maitreya Vacha Ganga Yamunayor Antara Kshetramabhashan Arabdhaneva Bubuje Bhogan Punya Jihasaya. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great saintly sage Maitreya told Vidura, "My dear Vidura, King Prithu lived in the tract of land between the two great rivers, Ganges and Yamuna. Because he was very opulent, it appeared that he was enjoying his destined fortune in order to diminish the results of his past pious activities." Purport? Shall I continue, Prabhuji, or someone else?
Yes. No, Mataji, please continue.
Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The term pious and impious are applicable only in reference to the activities of an ordinary living being. But Maharaja Prithu was a directly empowered incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, he was not subject to the reactions of pious or impious activities. As we have already explained previously, when a living being is specifically empowered by the Supreme Lord to act for a particular purpose, he is called a Shaktavesha Avatara. Prithu Maharaja was not only a Shaktavesha Avatara, but is also a great devotee. A devotee is not subjected to the reactions resulting from past deeds. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. For devotees, the results of the past pious and impious activities are nullified by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Arabdhan Eva mean as if achieved by past deeds. But in the case of Prithvi Maharaja, there was no question of reaction to past deeds, and thus the word eva is used here to indicate comparison to ordinary persons. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Avajananti ma mudaha. This means that sometimes people misunderstand an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be an ordinary man. The Supreme Godhead, his incarnations or his devotees may pose themselves as ordinary men, but they are never to be considered as such. Nor should an ordinary man not supported by authorized statements of the Shastras
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just zooming in. Yeah.
And
Nor should an
Acharyas,
ordinary man not supported by authorized statements of the Shastras and Acharyas be accepted as an incarnation or devotee. By the evidence of Shastra, Sanatana Goswami detected Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be a direct incarnation of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Lord Chaitanya never disclosed the fact, it's therefore generally recommended that the Acharya or Guru should not be accepted as an ordinary man. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
yes, thanks a lot, Mary. So, see, one point that was mentioned here, like for a for a devotee, right? He is not an ordinary man, and then Krishna has a plan. This is what something we were discussing. And then I want to share something again. It's something interesting. It's like now Lord is always fulfilling the desire of everyone, right? It is said, yam yam vapi saman bhavam. Whoever remembers anything at the time of leaving his body, I help them getting that when they get the next life. So then the question that arises here is, if Lord is anyway fulfilling the desire of everyone, then what is the extra thing, okay, by becoming a devotee? It is said that Lord fulfills the desire of his devotees also. But then it is all at the same level, right? It is all normalized. Even if you are devotee or even if you are not devotee, Lord is anyway fulfilling the desire. We can do anything, whatever we like. So in this regard, I heard something like interesting, which was mentioned that the Lord reciprocates in two forms. One, for an ordinary person who is not a devotee, then Krishna is sitting in the form of the Paramatma in the heart. And now, if that person has a desire, he's always getting the things based on his karma. Now, if he has a desire, if he has done a little bit of bhakti also, if he has a desire, and if he want to get something, and if he does not have the pious karma to get that, enough sukriti, then what is done? Lord will inspire that person to do some pious karma so that he gets the sukriti and then he gets his desire fulfilled. So Lord is sitting in the form of the Paramatma and he is guiding. Okay. But for a devotee, his debit and credit account, everything is settled. It is kept aside. That karma balance sheet is not checked. Okay. For a devotee, the Lord directly from the inside as the Bhagwan. Right? There are different realizations of the Lord, right? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti Satyate. So in the Brahman realization, Paramatma realization is the second that we discussed. And then the Bhagwan, that is the topmost. The Lord directly. Okay. If if the devotee is not getting something, if the devotee is going through some pain, suffering, then that is not because of his karmas. That is a special reciprocation of the Lord, so that Lord fulfills his purpose. How? Suppose a person has four sons in his house, and if some very important person is going to come, some VIP or some chief minister is going to come into the house, he will choose that person who is most obedient, right? So similarly, because he knows the heart of that father. Similarly, the Lord chooses his selected devotees, okay, so that through him he can, one, he can set a message, okay, that a devotee is always fixed. That is the only difference between a non-devotee, a neophyte devotee, and an advanced devotee. A non-devotee may end up praying sometime as a barter system, and then once he gets these things done, and then business closed, deal done, everything, and then next time if he needs, he'll approach. And then the seasonal devotee is like, neophyte stage, is like he gets problem and then he get deviated. His Shraddha is there, but it is not strong enough, not so strong that it can tolerate the heavy wind of the suffering that comes. The faith shakes. And the advanced devotee is looking everything as a mercy of the Lord. His Grace Sarvabhauma Prabhuji, who is the resident of Vrindavana, mentioned this example. In our life, we should be like a lion, not like a dog. And then further he explained this analogy. The dog is one who when a challenge comes, the dog runs behind that object. The dog never looks who threw that object. The dog always runs behind the object being thrown. But a lion will never run behind those objects. Okay? The Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. I just saw some message, so I wanted to go. Okay. But a lion always runs behind the person who threw that object. So we should be like a lion. Any problem, any happiness, anything that comes in our life is thrown by the Lord. Take it as the prasadam of the Lord. And when, see, we at this stage, okay, we are so much conditioned. We anyway cannot do it, anything. Like somebody asks us to go to do some austerity, go to Himalaya. We cannot do it. All we need to do is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Make your intelligence stronger. How? With the help of the scriptures. Fortunately, I'm sitting next to the BBT office. I mean, I was just looking for a place, and Lord arranged sitting in the stairs of BBT office in Mayapur. So it is the home, it is the heart of Srila Prabhupada, from where we are discussing this thing. So we make our intelligence stronger. How? By taking the shelter of the scriptures, by taking the shelter of our acharyas, by having the firm faith in their words. If we have that, nothing else we need. If the knowledge was so important, just on a click of a button, nowadays everybody has the smartphones, just on a click of a button, we get all the Vedas downloaded. Information is not a problem in this current time. Okay? All we need is an inch of transformation that happens. And that happens when we take the center of the Lord. When the Lord was coming to from Navadip, he was going to he had a desire to go to Vrindavana. Then he was totally absorbed all the times in the mood of the separation of the Lord. Okay, so we discussed this part, that normal devotee and the actual devotee, advanced devotee. Okay, so all the desires of an advanced devotee is to give the pleasure to the Lord. It is enough of searching for the pleasure of ourselves. All right, we go to the next verse. 12. Anyone wants to read the shloka? Okay, I'll try to read then. Sarvatra sukha
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I read?
Yeah, okay, Mataji.
Sarvatra sakshlitasdeshah saptadvipaikadantadrik anyatra brahmana kulad anyatra Gotra Achyuta Gotrataha. May I read translation and purport, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Prithu was an unrivaled king and possessed the scepter for ruling all the 7 islands on the surface of the globe. No one could disobey his irrevocable orders, but the saintly persons, the Brahmanas, and the descendants of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Vaishnavas. Purport. Saptadvipa refers to 7 great islands or continents on the surface of the globe: Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and Oceania. In the modern age, people are under the impression that during the Vedic period or the prehistoric ages, America and many other parts of the world had not been discovered. But that is not a fact. Prithu Maharaja ruled over the world many thousands of years before the so-called prehistoric age, and it is clearly mentioned here that in those days, not only were all the different parts of the world known, but they were ruled by one king, Maharaja Prithu. The country where Prithu Maharaja resided must have been India, because it is stated in the 11th verse of this chapter that he lived in the tract of land between the rivers Ganga and Yamuna. This tract of land, which is called Brahmavatara, consists of what is known as the modern age or as portion of Punjab and northern India. It is clear that kings of India once ruled all over the world and that their culture was Vedic. The word Asha, Prabhuji, may I continue or shall I give this to somebody?
No, continue, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. The word Akshalita indicates that orders by the king could not be disobeyed by anyone in the entire world. Such orders, however, were never issued to control saintly persons or the descendants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. The Supreme Lord is known as Achyuta, and Lord Krishna is addressed by Arjuna as such by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Senayor Upayor Madhye Ratam Stapaye me Arjuna. Achyuta. Achyuta refers to one who does not fall because he is never influenced by the modes of material nature. When a living entity falls down to the material world from his original position, he becomes Chuda, which means that he forgets his relationship with Achyuta. Actually, every living entity is a part and parcel or a son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When influenced by the modes of material nature, a living entity forgets this relationship and thinks in terms of different species of life. But when he again comes to his original consciousness, he does not observe such bodily designation. This is indicated in Bhagavad Gita 5.18 by the words Panditaha Samadarshanaha. Prabhuji, should I continue? Because it is very long purport. Can I give the chance to somebody?
Yeah, okay, Mataji. Okay, I'm really sorry because today I'm on mobile. I'm not able to see who all
Okay,
devotees are
Prabhuji.
also.
I will
kindly-
just see.
Yes.
I will just see who is raising the hand so that they can.
Okay. So, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Do anybody like to read? Divya Mataji, would you like to continue? Hare Krishna, Divya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishnamurti Prabhuji, can you continue?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hello. Can you see the paragraph, Mataji?
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishnamurti Prabhuji, are you willing to read?
I think Divya Mataji voice is breaking.
Okay.
Shall I read from material designations?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Material designations create differentiation in terms of caste, color, creed, nationality, etc. 1 second, Prabhuji. Different growthas or family designations are distractions in terms of the material body. But when one comes to Krishna consciousness, he immediately becomes one of the Achyuta Gotra or descendants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus becomes transcendental to all considerations of caste, creed, color, and nationality. Prithu Maharaja had no control over the Brahmana Kula, which refers to the learned scholars in Vedic knowledge, nor over the Vaishnavas, who are above the considerations of Vedic knowledge. It is therefore said, अर्च्य विष्णु शिलाधीर गुरुशा नारमतीर वैष्णवे जते बुद्धिर वैष्णवर्वा वैष्णवानां कलिमाला मथने पदा त्रितांबु बुद्धिः श्री विष्णोर्नामानि मंत्रे सकल कौलशा ये सभा समन्या बुद्धिर विष्णु सर्वेश्वरेशे तद्दितार सामधिर यस्य वा नरकै सहा. One who thinks the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, who thinks of the spiritual master in the disciplic section as an ordinary man, who thinks the Vaishnava in the Achyuta Gotra to belong to a certain caste or creed, or who thinks of Charanamrita or Ganges water as ordinary water, he is taken to be a resident of hell. Padma Purana. From the facts presented in the verse, it appears that people in general should be controlled by a king until they come to the platform of Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, who are not under the control of anyone. Brahmana refers to one who knows Brahman, or the impersonal future of the absolute truth. And a Vaishnava is one who serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes. So we learned few things here. I'll just highlight them. So one of them was called the peace formula of Bhagavad Gita, right? Where everything is the property of the Lord. 5.29. Bhokta Ram Yajata Prasam. So if we live our life with this principle that anything that we come across is the property of the Lord and we are just the caretaker, then it automatically relieves ourselves from being the owner and then gives us peace. Another point which I heard this morning was 10.9. Machita madgita prana bodhiyante parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So this is called the happiness formula of Bhagavad Gita. So this happiness formula of Bhagavad Gita is nothing but it is telling how do we remain happy in our life. Okay? And what is the formula? Whenever we discuss about the pastimes of the Lord, okay, in the association of the devotees, then it automatically gives us the peace. But then the question is, we all know this formula. When in the schools, when we used to learn some formulas, then we were not settling just by knowing the formula, right? Most of us will know a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. But if we had not solved any problem based on that formula, we would have not remembered it or taken it to our heart. Now we know the formula. Machita madgata prana. Right? We have to bodhyanti parasparam. I attended the class of His Grace Vasant Madhav Prabhu last week, where he was telling about bodhyanti parasparam. So in the association of the devotees, we have to discuss about the pastimes of the Lord. See, it is very important to know formula, and we must be. It should be very, very close to our heart. But then how and when are we going to apply this in our life? That is the next question that should be there with us. How many times when we meet the devotees, we are discussing about the pastimes of the Lord? Is a question that we have to ask to ourselves. Knowing the formula is the first step and definitely most important. But then that we don't settle there, right? We progress further. We read it, right? And then we share it. And when we share, there are studies, right, which explains if you read something or if you come across something, and if you share it, then the chances of it retaining in our mind and heart multiplies by many, many, many times. So this is another thing that we learned in this sloka. And the second one is that Achyuta Gotra, right? So whenever we get initiation, then we are anyway descendants of the Lord, right? We are the parts and parcel of Him. Now, with initiation that is even more formally announced, right? We become the Gotra becomes whichever caste, creed, nationality, anything we are, we become the Achyuta Gotra. What is Achyuta? One who never fails, who never falls down. And if we don't take the shelter of the Lord, we are always fallen down. Nobody can save us from that switch. Nobody can save us from that stage. So there is no choice. There is no third button. Only two buttons, on and off, like a switch. Either we are fallen down or we are not fallen down. If we are not fallen down, means we have to take the center of the Lord. Otherwise, okay, there are only two stages: fallen down or not fallen down. And another interesting thing that we learned here is that there were the seven islands. People of so this age they say Columbus discovered this thing and that. But Prithu Maharaj is very it is mentioned clearly, right? So we don't have to have any doubt. See, this is the real knowledge. There is no point in reading those hundreds of articles which are just manipulated. People nowadays have a habit of writing out of their own thoughts, and if it attracts so much of population is there, right? Everybody has their different moods. Somebody writing something, attracting somebody, making him popular does not mean if 1,000 people are saying something false and they all are agreeing to that, it does not mean they can change the truth. The truth is the truth. Even if nobody is accepting it or one person is accepting or everybody is accepting. By the votes, okay, we can just choose a leader. Elections are going on in India, right? So with our votes, we can choose our leader. Very, very important, okay? If a leader is wise, he will help the nation to progress on the scriptural aspect also. Otherwise, we never know. So whatever bit of things that we have in our control, use it for the service of the Lord. And then we must not have any doubt what Prabhupada is. Prabhupada was a Vakuntam, and this afternoon also we were discussing that many times when devotees were telling Srila Prabhupada, was you are a Satyavis avatar, and he was keeping quiet. He was not saying anything. Prabhupada was with the Lord. We must not do these mistakes which are mentioned in the purport which are explained in this sloka, right? That considering the water of Ganges and Mixarnavanta to be normal water, and those are the biggest mistakes. Spiritual master is not an ordinary person. Go to the next verse and then we finish after that. Anyone wants to read third verse of the day?
Yes,
Sloka number 13.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Yes, Mataji.
Krishna.
I'll tell you.
Okay, you both read, Mataji. One Mataji will read the sloka and the other Mataji will read the translation. And if there is one more, you can read the purport. I'm really sorry once again, I'm not able to see the screen. Who is available? I'm on phone, right? So, yes, first Mataji, don't even see the names. I'm seek your pardon again and again for that. Yes.
एकदासीन महाशास्त्र महासत्र दीक्षा तत्र तिवौकसां समाजो ब्रह्मर्षिणां च राजर्षिणां च सत्तमा.
Yes.
Please scroll, Mataji. I can't see the translation.
Once upon a time.
Translation.
Is it visible, Mataji, now?
Translation
Yes.
by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Once upon a time, King Prithu initiated the performance of a very great sacrifice in which great saintly sages, Brahmanas, the demigods from higher planetary system, and great saintly kings known as Rajarshis all assembled together. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams.
Yes. Thanks, Mataji. Now I request the second Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. Yes,
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the most significant point is that although King Prithu's residential quarters were in India, between the rivers Ganges and Yamuna, the demigods also participated in the great sacrifice he performed. This indicates that formerly the demigods used to come to this planet. Similarly, great personalities like Arjuna, Yudhishthir, and many others used to visit higher planetary systems. Thus, there was interplanetary communication via suitable airplanes and space vehicles. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks a lot, Mother. So it is again an eye-opener for part Shloka. See, I say one line, okay? Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. So this Harinam has come from the Goloka Vrindavana. If the demigods who are empowered by the Lord can come to this planet and other planets, right? With the power given by the Lord, then how and why can the Lord not come anywhere wherever he desires to? It is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam second canto, somewhere in the between, that earlier when the sages and the rishis they used to travel from one planet to another, they used to take the shelter of Mother Ganges. It flows from the lotus feet of the Lord. It goes from all the planets, right? They go into the water, they take the shelter of the water, and they travel. They cover their journey. So when the arrangements are there, and when the demigods have this power, Yudhishthira Maharaj, right? We know of the example of Arjuna. He had gone to the heaven. And then Radha Dashrath, he had gone to heaven. So many examples. There was one sage was there who just had few moments. Who knows that name? Who had who fought from the side of the demigods, and then he asked how much time he's left with, and then he was told only few moments, and then he just started meditation on the Lord.
The Katvanga, Prabhuji.
Katwang Maharaj, yes, Maharaj.
Katwanga.
Thanks a lot. Yes. So when people can go from here to heavens and heavens people can come from here, we must be see it is a real science. Nobody can explain that. If we talk about this thing going to heaven, the distance is also mentioned. Okay, uh, everything is there. Speed of the sun was mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam first. So we may take ages to identify and then correct and then recorrect and re-recorrect ourselves. But when the things are mentioned in the scriptures, see there is no verse. I mean, it is not against. Okay, our spiritual science and the material science are not against. The problem comes when we start taking them independently. Okay, we should be taking the material science to be based on the spiritual science, and then spiritual science to be as a complement. Okay, so that we advance both, we use both. Idea is to be to feel ourselves very grateful, okay, for the knowledge that we have got. People, businesses, countries, generations, they don't reveal it, okay, because of the fear of losing their so-called prestige or whatever. But Prabhupada never had this fear. He was a Vaikuntha man, and he did not really fear anything. So I just go through. We are done. 2 minutes left. I'm just going through if there is something interesting, or if someone wants to ask some question or share some comments, you're most welcome. Otherwise, I just go through some of my learning. If I liked, and I want to share it here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You have, without seeing, you have explained it so well. I don't know. So thank you so much for the Nectarian class.
Prabhupada ki jai Mataji. He is the one
Very
who
bold.
who is connecting us. He is speaking via. I mean, I'm not advanced. I mean, I'm not at all advanced. But when we want to do something in the service of the Lord, then it is His game, not our game. So yes. So we should chant in the mood of giving pleasure to the Lord. It is our biggest service. Only aim of life should be to know, to attain Krishna. And when we intensify our this prayer, then we need to We don't need to be perfect in our life. There is no word called perfect in the life of a devotee. There is only one word, which is progress. Every single day, our death is approaching us. But second part of your question is, are we progressing? Are we progressing in our spiritual life? If the answer is not, then it is an alarm, right? Just now I heard in Dham, that is the advantage. Every single thing is in the service of the Lord. I just heard the bell, and then bell says 9 p.m. I mean, India time, I'm saying 9 p.m. So we should have a bell. This is the last line of the day. What is the bell? Krishna consciousness is the aim of the life. We all agree to that. But when we are in the association of the devotees, then that aim is there in front of us. We can, like when we go to a theater, we see a movie actor, actresses, they are singing, dancing, everything is there in front of our eyes, right? So we see it moving and we enjoy it. We absorb into that. But when we see the association of the devotees, we see our aim of the life as a movie. It reminds us what is the aim of the life, and then we come more closer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you have some questions or something we can discuss, otherwise we're done for the day. And I seek your forgiveness from my heart because I was not able to switch across the windows, and then I was not able to see.
Hare
Yes, but now I'm back to my screen. Yes. Oh, my screen. It was light, also dark, I guess. I'm really sorry. I don't know how many times I did that. Yeah.
Mother, Prabhuji, we can visualize. No, nothing problem.
Now I'm seeing
Prabhuji,
on
I'm
the Zoom.
grateful to you, Prabhuji, because regarding this Krishna conscious movement you have told now, knowingly or unknowingly, our day starts from chanting, ending with chanting. And in another means, if we keep quiet, we don't know why it will happen, in what influence is making us. We used to search for beads, japa beads. How it influences, I can't explain. Yesterday, when I experienced yesterday only, I have been to, my relative has passed away. Right from my journey from Bangalore to Arsikere, around 2 or 3 hours journey, I don't know, right from reaching and then attending all the program and returning, I go on chanting. So I don't know why it is happening. So it is happening. It feels satisfactory for us. So what your counsel thing is, you are influencing us like to involve in that. It is the great happiness for us. See? So I request you, please be forever for us in the same mood till our last breathing. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thanks a lot, Prabhuji, for always encouraging and inspiring me. I'll be happy to serve you ever, forever. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I seek your permission now. Pancha Kalpatarubhescha,
Hare
Pancha Kalpatarubhescha, Sindhu Bhaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
I go.
Pranam. Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.